Hey guys, how's it going today? So I am going to be making a video of how to install and set up TinyMediaManager and kind of go over the settings a little more in depth. This is a video I've been promising for a little bit now, and I just now have time to do it. So to kick things off, I'm not going to waste any time. We're just going to go to TinyMediaManager.org. And note, I have never installed that program on this computer before, so this will be a totally fresh install. I'm assuming I'm going to have to install Java and all that too, because it does require a special edition of Java. Usually, at least it did on my other PC, so we will kind of see how that goes. So you just go to the download page, click the download button, pick your OS, and we're going to wait for that download to finish here, and then we'll kind of dive into the settings. So for the time being, I will show you guys my video folder. So this is my second drive here. I just have a folder with TV shows. They're all kind of mixed. As you can see, I just have two shows just for an example. See how they're all kind of labeled a little funky. Nothing really looks good. And I also have my movies folder right here. Here's one of my movies. It's, named a little crazy, and it's just inside a folder here. And you know what? Even for argument's sake, well, I'll leave it in that folder, because normally when you download a movie, it comes in the folder, and the folder looks like that, which is all crazy. Okay, so that's my media setup right now. So once we get the download done, it's going to be a zip file. So I'm going to go ahead and open it up, and I'm going to extract it to a location. This is the install directory. TinyMediaManager doesn't have an actual installer. It just runs all out of this folder. So basically point this where you would like it to go. So normally what I do is I make a new folder on my drive, and I just call it TMM. Oh, TMM. So I know it's TinyMediaManager, and I'm going to extract it to there. So after that, just exit out of here. You can close down your browser. And now I'm going to navigate to that folder. So I'm going to go here. Here's my TMM folder. And from there, what I do is I right click on TinyMediaManager.exe and I hit send to desktop create shortcut. You can close out of here. There's our shortcut. That's what we're going to be using now. So now I'm going to go ahead and run it for the first time. See if it gives us any issues. Looks like I do have everything cool. I do have the right Java. So if you do get the Java prompt, just go ahead and install it. It'll take you right to the website and just download it. So this is the setup wizard, and we're going to go ahead and hit next here. We accept the conditions, and we want English, yes. And if you have a different language, obviously select it. I just like the dark setting. That's me. I like it. It looks better. I normally change the font size on my other PC to something larger, but I did notice when I did that, some of the information within the settings panels were cut off. Like some of the text, some of the information, it was kind of cut off because it doesn't really correctly format things like that. So if you can, just leave it at the default 12. So we're going to hit next here. And here's your movie data sources. These are only for movies, not for TV shows. They have a separate section for TV shows. So for my movies, I'm going to navigate to, and by the way, you should create a movies folder and a TV shows folder to make this simpler. That's what I do. So where is my movies? There's my movies. So I'm just going to click on the root directory, and you should have all of your movie folders inside of there. I only have one for this example, but just click the movie root folder. Okay, so we see D movies right there. I'm going to hit next. These are your metadata scrapers. So usually the best I've found is usually the movie database. I like it. This isn't permanent. You can always change all of this later. So for now, we're going to leave that as it is. We don't need the API key. You can include adult movies if you would like. You can scrape language and country names. I usually do that. Nothing will come up, so don't worry about it. It just provides different artwork in different languages. So your fallback language, you want it to be your default language usually. Get the release date for the chosen country, yes. Include premiere dates, yes. Normally I don't mess with any of this. So this is your info format. If you're gonna optimize this for Kodi, if you have less than version 16, then you're going to want to select this button. If this doesn't apply to you, you're not going to be using it for Kodi, then don't worry about it. It doesn't matter. All this we can change later, so we're just going to hit next basically. This all looks okay. So now this is where you pick your TV shows. So this is going to go to the root of your TV shows directory. So I'm going to go drop down to my terabyte there. And TV shows. Okay. And next. You see these are in DVD order. This is if you are literally ripping them off of a DVD. Nowadays, that's not really the case. We don't really need to worry about that. Again, same thing here, same settings pretty much. You'll notice that a lot of the settings kind of cross over because there's some for movies and there's some for TV shows. And as you can see, after I've done that, automatically it started to pull this in. I normally drag this bar over so it's a little easier to see. So we can see that it already pulled in some movie, well, my one movie. So here, if we hover over, this is the info file. That would be the images. Here's the trailer, the subtitles, and the watched. So it looks like it has subtitles built into it, this type of movie that I have. And you can see the storage path right there. So if you want to run your first script, now's not the time. We need to go through the settings first and set everything up. So once we're starting off here, we're going to start in this general area. This is all pretty much the same settings that we just went over in that initial wizard. So we don't need to worry about any of that. Here's the file types. This, you can add extra file types. I find that it generally includes everything. Title sorting, this I like. For example, if you have like the Born Identity, it won't sort it under T, it'll be under B, which I kind of like. So I leave that by default. Under external devices, the first thing I'm going to highlight, this UPnP section. If you click on the question mark, it'll open up this explanation page, which a lot of their settings have. So I'm just going to kind of highlight on what it is, basically. So if I were to click this button here, share library with external UPnP devices, it basically means that this program is going to be used as a media server. If you don't know what a media server it is, just give it a quick Google. A media server is just going to basically project your media throughout your Wi-Fi network so that certain devices like computers, smart TVs, your phone can just stream the whole media library just from this program. It's very handy. It's kind of like the way that Plex works, basically. It's the same type of thing. So I don't usually use it because I have Plex and I have other methods, but that is very cool that this is included. That's the only thing you need to check, and that's it. And then if you check this, generally just check that as well. So that is that setup. Thought it's a very cool option. So the next thing we're going to highlight is under external services. Tracked TV, I love to death. It basically does what it sounds like. It tracks your TV viewing history. So if I'm watching a TV show, right, and I'm in the middle of the episode, what that does is when I pause it, when I play it, when I fast forward it, how many times I've watched it, it will actually sync to this website and keep a full data profile on you. Don't worry, it is secure. It just keeps a record of everything you've watched, episodes you've watched, at what time you stopped watching it, so you can resume it later. It's really handy. So what you would do, I don't know why this pro thing is here. I'm guessing oh wow, they switched it. Okay. So on the old version of TMM, you were able to sync this with your track, no problem. This new Pro that they're pushing, they're trying to make it cost money now. Apparently they're eliminating some of the systems. That's really dumb. So basically to get around this, just Google search a TinyMediaManager download that's like a couple versions previous and it'll work fine. Because that's what I'm using on my main PC. That's really dumb. So the media player section under system, this is if you double click a movie in your library here, what video player would you like to play with? Now this, you actually have to go in and select the executable. So if I want VLC, I got to go in the program files folder, etc., find vlc.exe and hit open. And then from then on, any movie I double click, it would open in the media player. That's how that works. The max memory settings, I generally push it up a little bit. Just depending on your PC performance, how much memory you would like it to have. I noticed with the default, like basically nothing, it takes a little bit longer for it to scrape things. So I usually just push it off somewhere into the quarter to halfway area. Let's see. The next portion here, aspect ratio, that is new. I have not seen that. That is cool. Miscellaneous settings. Okay. What I have checked off in my default one is delete trash backup folder on exit. So sometimes it will leave residual files when you are scraping and getting new information, and it doesn't need all of that. So I have this by default because if you don't have this checked, you'll actually notice a folder that's created in the root of the movies or the root of the TV shows folder that says delete TMM deleted files or something like that. It's like its own recycle bin, and without that checked, it won't delete it by itself, which I think is kind of dumb. So what we're going to be looking at in here is the movies area. We want it to be sorted by title. The preferred rating, we want it IMDb. There is an automatic rename option. So when you import something, it will automatically rename the movie and file. I don't really use this, as I like to go through and make sure everything's perfectly correct before I rename something. That way, maybe it doesn't get renamed to an incorrect movie name, or like if you're, let's say for example, you had the movie It. You know how there's the super old version, there's the newer version, there's multiple versions. I don't want us to pull the incorrect version, label it wrong, all that type of stuff. So I leave automatic rename unchecked. I would probably have automatic aspect ratio detection. That sounds good. This is where you can automatically sync with your Track TV account. So Track TV has its own section for your own personal library. It just means that it's going to show on your personal library all the media that you import into here. It's very handy. Let's see. Media Center presets. This is where you can set it to Kodi, to Plex, to XBMC, Media Portal, etc. To be honest, I haven't really noticed much of a difference when I have changed it in the past from Kodi to Plex. But if you are using one or the other, might as well just hit this setting just to be safe. So for that, I would hit Plex. That looks good to me. So under data sources, this is where you have the option to come back in at a later point in time if you have multiple movie folders or something like that. This is where you can come back in and add those later. They have an exclude folders from scan, so if you just want certain folders within that root folder to not be included, that's where you can set that up. And this bad words section is essentially, let's say you have just a whole video library and some of it has your porn collection or something like that. You can have it set up to be exclude titles with something like XXX or something like that. Or I won't get into the graphic parts, but you basically understand what that means. It will filter out that type of stuff, not include it in the library, which is kind of handy. So the next portion is the scrapers. This is where you can come in and change. Now notice this is all under the movies category. TV shows has its own exact like mirrored settings down below. So for the movie scraper, this is where you can come in and change your default scraper. Again, same settings that we went through in the initial wizard. Your scraper options, again, pretty much the same type of stuff. Info settings, don't really need to mess with any of that. Your artwork, pretty much same things there. The artwork file names is where things change up a little bit. So on the artwork file names, it defaults to poster.extension. What that means is when you scrape a movie, it's going to label the DVD cover poster.jpg or something like that. I don't like that, as I like my video library to pop. So if you have a movie, or I'm sorry, an image file named folder.extension inside of a folder, it will put it as the default and only image as the cover of the actual folder. So I'll kind of show you what that means. You've seen it probably in my previous videos where it's just the DVD image in the folder icon when I go to click my movies, and there's no other extra files behind it. That's the way you want it. So I have that set as folder. Fan art, I don't really touch most of these. I kind of leave these. It's all personal preference, key art, all that type of stuff. The enable extra artwork area is you can have extra thumbnails for items. So by default, it only downloads one. You can set it to a certain amount you would like it to cap out at as well. You can have extra fan art. It's just kind of for the background. It's when you click on the movie and it has extra fan art behind it, just kind of a little display. This is a kind of well-hidden button. So this is download actor images to a .actors folder. So what this does is you can download the images of the actors because, as you know, Kodi and Plex both have their own versions of the actors' images when you click on a show, movie, what have you. So it actually has them stored. So this gives you the option to store it locally. But when you do have it downloaded and you have it set up so where it will download the actors' thumbnails, it just puts them inside of the movies folder. And then once you go in there, you kind of realize it's a lot of files in there all at once. So this drops it into a .actors folder inside of the root of the movies folder. So for example, it would be Monster Hunter folder. Inside that, it would have .actors folder with all of the actors' thumbnails. That is how that works. For the trailer, you can automatically download the trailer. That's this setting right here. And it's just the trailer for this movie. You can choose the trailer source where you'd like it to download from. The quality, remember, higher quality, more memory is going to eat up eventually. I don't download the trailers just because I have a huge library and I don't like to have the extra space being used. And this is where you have the trailer file naming section. So for subtitles, in order to download subtitles for shows at all, you have to have an OpenSubtitles.org account before you can do it. Once you do have one, you can just type in your username and password into here and everything will be set up at that point. So let me see. I'll go ahead and type mine in so I can show you what an example would look like after this is done. Okay, so that's it. I just typed it in. Don't have to click anything. Don't have to do anything. For the next section, the renamer. This is the very important, confusing part, right? This is where most people have issues and run into problems. So I don't know if you guys saw my previous video, but I have my folder naming set up to something very specific. So for my movie folder name, I'm going to show you exactly what I have typed in here. So if you would like to do this yourself, I should say, scroll down. Here's a table, right? It shows you the information that it pulls from the video. So if I would like maybe the video format in the video file title, I'm going to look, see it says 2160p, so that's a 4K video. And if I go all the way over, there's two options for me to type. I generally just type the easiest one. You have to type this exactly as it is shown right here. So it has the strange parenthesis. That usually is something people miss. And you have to have the capitalization, everything correct. And once you have typed in, you will see the example given right down here. If this does not look correct and how you want it, then some of the settings are incorrect. So watch, if I, for example, make this capital A with, maybe I misspell it or something, nothing's going to show right there. If I do spell it correctly, then things come up. So my personal media is set up like so. I definitely like the way this looks. I think it looks really nice. All right. I am looking at a piece of paper right next to me with this written down. So give me a moment. I gotta focus on exactly how this is typed because it's a lot of strange ass characters. Video format. And I want it to show HDR if it has HDR set up. So I'm going to type that. Again, this is all stuff that I've pulled from the table down below. You could all find this displayed down below as well. This is all personal preference. This is just something that I found looks the nicest, and I know that it plays well with Kodi and Plex. So that will be mine, my default. So as you can see, my movie folder will show up like this now. So it'll say 2160p HDR web-DL. Looks good. That's exactly how I want my movies to pull. So the media source tells me what type of media it is. Maybe it'll be Blu-ray, etc. My file name is almost exactly the same. Oh, is it exactly the same? They might have updated it. It didn't used to be. Let's see. So we have title, edition, year, video format, audio codec. Boom. They got it nice. All right. So that's how your movie file will be named. Right there. That is how we like that. And down here are movie sets. So that just talks about this stuff. We don't need to worry about it. Artwork. Don't really need to worry about it. This is all just kind of same type of stuff. TV shows. This is mirrored settings basically. So that was all for movies. This is all for TV shows now. So that's that first page here. Don't need to worry about much of that. Your data sources, this is where you can come in, add different data sources for TV shows. The scraper information again, the scraper options again, the info settings. I'm not going to touch on any of this again because we've already gone over it. But I am going to show you this page. This is going to be a different area now. So now there's going to be season posters. There's going to be different stuff for TV shows that there wasn't for movies. So again, uncheck poster, switch it to folder. That's the best way to do it in my opinion. Leave all that, and now we see the season poster section. So by default, this is going to throw, let's say it's like The Simpsons season 12. So it would be season 12 dash poster.jpg, and it would put it in the root of my TV show folder. In TV shows, the way they are set up is it's going to be the TV show. So it would be The Simpsons folder, right? Inside The Simpsons, it would have a season 1 folder, season 2 folder, season 3 folder with all of the season episodes corresponding to that number inside of that. It will not just be episodes inside of the Simpsons TV root folder. That's not how that's not how it works basically. It will automatically set it up so it'll create a season folder for you if you don't have that set up. So by default, it's dumping all the season posters in the root of the TV show folder, which serves no purpose and is going to leave your season posters completely blank. So what we want to do is switch it to this one down here. So we want it to drop it into the season folder. So we want the season 12 poster to go in the season 12 folder. And it would be named folder.extension to have it look really nice. So season banner. This doesn't matter as much. It's really just anything that's named folder.extension we want to go for. So this doesn't really matter as much. But this means that the season information is going to be dumped in the root. I'd rather have it all in the actual season folder. So the root folder is not so cluttered. So I'm just going to click these over here. This doesn't matter as much. This is how you download trailers for the TV shows. It will not download season trailers. I've been asked that question before. It will only download the actual full-on, just initial preview of the TV show trailer. That's the only settings it can do, and same type of thing with that. Subtitles, exact same section. You have to retype in your information with open subtitles for this section as well. Everything is kind of mirrored, but you do want different settings for your TV shows and movies sometimes, so it does work out that way. Okay, that's set up. So the renamer, this one is going to be just a little different because now you see we have the season folder name as well. So that's included in there. So again, we have our table. It looks like I have no TV show because I have all of my TV shows set up a little crazy right now. So if this is what your video folders look like, you're going to want to do this. This is going to help you a lot in the long run. Just make a folder. I have a show called Lovecraft Country, so I'm going to make the Lovecraft Country folder. Sorry, I got a little tongue twisted right there. And I'm going to dump all of the files into there. And I'm going to make a Simpsons folder. Again, anytime you get any new show or something like that, just do this. It makes things a lot easier. Oops. No, no, no. What are you doing? Yikes. What did I do? Oh, okay. Copy. I'll just do this. Okay. So, normally I'm going to tell you to make a season folder on top of this as well. But just for informative purposes, I'm not going to do it right now. So that's how that looks. Normally it's going to pull that. We can't see it right now because I haven't refreshed the sources. But I will show you what my default TV show folder names are. So if we would like the TV shows, so I have the show title and the show year. That is correct. That's exactly how I like it. Season folder name. We just have that as it is. That means it's going to pull season and the number. That's easy, simple. We want that. For the the episode file names, I do have. Do I have anything different? I think they have updated this. Wow. Yep. Okay. Yeah. So that's going to give you, it would say The Simpsons, S for season, 12 maybe, E for episode, maybe 13, and then it would have a hyphen, and then it'll give you the title. So it'd be like Homer Takes a Tumble or some shit. You know, whatever. That's going to be how those are named. Those are the settings. Whenever you have new information that you would like to pull, just hit update data sources. Now, it's only going to update the movies. You do have to go to the TV shows tab to update the TV shows. Now we can see that Lovecraft Country and The Simpsons both pulled, and those options are there. Okay, so now for the easier part. We've got our shows in here. We've got our red X's. We want this information to pull. All we're going to do, search and scrape. And I like to do scrape new items because generally I only want the new information to be scraped. So now we see The Simpsons. That's going to populate here. It's scraping right there. This is all of the information that's pulling. Okay? That's that. As long as your show and the year looks correct, double check the year always, because sometimes there'll be different shows from different years. Then hit OK. And then it goes on to the next one. So we see Lovecraft Country. I don't know why I can't say that today. That looks good to me. And we're going to hit OK again. And this is our progress bar down here. Looks like we have 20 new notifications. These will be errors. See, we do have an issue. It has a root directory in the data source. To get this imported, move it to its own directory. So we do have issues here. So if I look at that, now we can see, because of those settings that I had set up, now we can see that The Simpsons, it looks nice in that little folder view. Here's all the posters, all the information. Now it does download every single one, but if I don't have a season folder, that's how it's going to look. It's just going to have all the video files in there. So that's why I always say have a season folder for your season shows. Even if it's just one season that you have in here, even if it's multiple episodes mixed around, not even a full season, still make each separate folder for each season. It's going to change everything and make it a lot easier. So now I am going to have to go through and select these, all my video files. Oops. And I'm actually just going to delete all of the media that it downloaded because I don't want any remnants. Oh, it even downloaded the theme song. So I'm going to cut that, and I'm going to paste all the video files into here. I'm going to go back to here just to show you what this would look like. Delete all of that. So this is how you would generally want it. Do the same thing for Lovecraft Country. I'm going to create the season folder. Season 1. Okay. And my video files. Okay. Cut. And paste. So that is how that will look. Delete that. So now if I update the sources again, we can see all of these went back to red X's. We will search and scrape new. Start scraping. Start scraping. Because it already has the information, we've already verified what show it is, so now it just has to repull everything, which make things a little bit easier. So now if I go up in my directory, oh, they're not technically new, sorry. So what you can do is you can control click on the shows you would like to scrape and then just hit the purple scrape icon. Just do it one last time. Boom, boom. As you can see, downloading images. And if you click on these next to it, the little down arrows, you can see your season information and you can see the episode information. And it looks like everything is completed, so I'll show you what that looks like now. So as you can see, here's the folder information, the season folder, and there's all the file information. But notice how everything still looks crazy, right? It's still named all nuts. We don't want that. So after we are done scraping and have all of our images that we need to have, then we are going to hit rename and clean up. I'm going to check do not show this again. Yes. Renaming and cleaning up. I'm going to do this same thing for The Simpsons once it is done. Rename and clean up. Okay, it's working. And now, as you can see, everything is named much better. So that is based on our naming pattern that we set up within that settings area. So if I go out, everything looks good. See, that's that folder that will automatically be deleted once you close out Kodi. Or, I'm sorry, TinyMediaManager. Downloads all the season posters, there's the show info, here's everything named perfectly. These are the thumbnails for the actual episode. This is the info file for the episode. Everything looks great. That's how that works. I will show you the movies one real quick. So I'm going to scrape the movie. This is the correct movie, Monster Hunter. Boom, pulls all the information. It has the subtitles included. Good. Everything looks alright. Rename and clean up. Okay. And if I want to view that, that's how that looks now. So we can see that's how the folder is named. Looks good, 2160p, it has HDR, and it's a web download. Great, exactly how I wanted it. Now there are a couple extra settings within the right-click menu that you are not going to see. So if you check this out, they have changed some stuff. So for example, if you are missing some of the images, if it wasn't able to pull maybe the DVD cover or the thumbnails, this is a great thing. Download missing artwork for selected movies. This is going to use every single scraper that it has available in order to find the correct movie type. Or I mean, find the correct images. Oh god, they've changed so much stuff with this fake pro version. I don't like this. And the only other thing is going to be, where is it? They moved this. I don't know if I like this new one, new version. I'm looking for, oh wow, they made it pro. Search and download subtitles. That is crazy. Alright, so I might recommend that you guys download the older version of TinyMediaManager without all these crazy restrictions. But essentially, that's how it's going to work. So that is how you get your setup, your movie library, how it's set up like mine. Everything looks great. And from there, it's much simpler to do. Alright, that's going to be it for this video. Maybe I will do another one highlighting the actual better version of Tiny Media Manager, but that's going to be it for now. So you guys have a good one, and make sure you like and subscribe.